Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi amma ba'd. As mentioned, we will continue our study and our reading from the book 100 Questions and Answers regarding Aqidah and Tawheed, authored by our Shaykh Abdulaziz Sha'lan, Hafidhahullah. In this lesson we come to question number 9. Tafadhal, Shaykh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Why did Allah create jinn and mankind? He created them to worship Him and no other deity besides Him.
Yeah. So the 9th question, لِمَاذَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ? Why did Allah create jinn and humans? The answer is لِعِبَادَتِهِ وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ, to worship Him alone with ibadah and without ascribing that ibadah to anybody else besides Him. And this question, brothers and sisters, this question, why did Allah create us? Why did Allah create humanity? Why did He create jinn? Why did He create everything around us? What is your purpose upon this earth? This is one of the most important questions that a person can know, because this question relates to the reason why you were created, the purpose behind your existence upon the earth, the mission which you have to fulfill, and your greatest responsibility whilst you are upon this earth. So if you know the answer to why Allah created you, and then you fulfill that answer, then you have succeeded and you have fulfilled your role upon this earth. And if you don't know why Allah created you, or you don't fulfill the reason why Allah subhanahu created you, then this only leads to wretchedness in this life and in the hereafter. And as I mentioned, knowing why Allah subhanahu created you is knowing what your purpose is upon the earth. It is knowing what your purpose is upon the earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created you, and then He created everything around you. And then He put everything into motion. Now, the sun rises and the sun sets. Day and night comes and goes. The tides come and go. The waves approach and go. The mountains are stable. Animals eat and reproduce. Trees grow. Seasons change. Rain and sun comes and goes. All of this Allah subhanahu has created, and then He has put into motion. Everything, it happens, all of creation, we're not talking about humans and jinn here. The rest of creation, they do exactly what Allah wants them to do. The only ones who have a choice and a will to obey Allah or to disobey Allah are humans and jinns. Apart from that, animals do what Allah created them to do. Angels do what Allah created them to do. Mountains don't disobey Allah. The clouds come and go as Allah has decreed. Even the wind. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "La tal'anu ar-rih." Do not insult the wind. فَإِنَّهَا مَأْمُورَةٌ مُسَخَّرَةٌ. Because it has been ordered by Allah and it is in submission to Allah. So even the wind, it obeys and it fulfills its responsibility upon the earth. Whatever mission Allah has given it for it to do, it does. And like this, every other being and facet of creation. The only ones whom Allah has given a choice or a will, of course there's repercussions for the choice, is humans and jinn. Obey Allah or do not obey Allah. When you are flowing with the rest of the universe, when you are flowing in the same motion that Allah subhanahu has set for the rest of the universe, then your fitrah is in line with the rest of the universe. And therefore, you find within you a sa'ada, happiness. Because you're not going against what Allah has created you for, neither are you going against the rest of the universe, which is going in a particular motion, i.e. the motion of submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When a person goes against his fitrah, goes against his nature, i.e. the nature which Allah created people upon, goes against the rest of the universe in obeying Allah and submitting to Allah, this is when problems occur. And this is when depression and illnesses and diseases of the society, this is when it occurs. So the closer you are to your fitrah, i.e. submitting to Allah, the healthier you are, meaning the healthier your heart is, the healthier your mind is, the healthier your body is. The more you oppose your fitrah and how Allah created you and what He created you for, the more problems you will have. This we understand when it comes to health. So if you put inside your body that which your body was not created for, what happens? You become ill. There are health problems. Because you put inside your body that which Allah did not create it for. You went against your fitrah physically. Like this, your soul, your mind, your emotions, your heart. When you do and submit to that which Allah created you for, then you will have a healthy soul and body, mind and emotions. But when you oppose what Allah created you for and your fitrah goes against it and you're far away from your fitrah, this is when these diseases, emotional problems and wretchedness and punishment in this life and the hereafter, it comes. And this is something which Allah subhanahu makes clear in the Quran. Allah subhanahu said in Surah Al-Hashr, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Do not be like those people, نَسُوا اللَّهَ, who forgot Allah, meaning they turned away from Allah. Do not be like those people who forgot Allah, meaning turned away from Allah. فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. And so Allah caused them to forget their own selves. Meaning He's saying, Subhana, that the only way for you to know your direction and to attain your masalih of the dunya and the akhirah is obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when you turn away from Him and you don't submit to Him, then you lose your own self. You forget your own self. Because you forgot what Allah created you for. You forgot your purpose upon the earth. And if you don't know your purpose upon the earth, then everything else is secondary. So when you forget Allah, you forget your own self. When you forget Allah, you don't realize your own masalih, your own benefits in this life and in the hereafter. And this is why you see many people, and all of you know the stories, the celebrities and sports stars and people of authority, and they are fulfilling every single desire which they want to fulfill. Money and fame and authority and women and desires and shahawat and intoxicants and music. And yet many of them, what's their end result? Suicide, dies in the bathtub, dies on his own vomit, na'udhu billah, overdose, jumps from a bridge, jumps from a balcony. And there are so many examples of this. Why, when they had every single shahwa of the dunya, why did they end like this? Because they forgot why they were upon the earth. So when they forget why Allah has placed them upon the earth, ansahum anfusahum, then they don't even remember their own selves. Allah makes them forget their own maslaha in this dunya. And this is why Shaykh Sa'di rahimahullah, he said, وَالْحِرْمَانُ كُلَّ الْحِرْمَانِ, that the ultimate and utter loss, أن يغفل العبد عن هذا الأمر, is for a person to be unaware of this, meaning why Allah created him. فَيُشَابِهُ قَوْمًا نَسُوا اللَّهَ, and so then he resembles those people who forgot Allah, وَغَفَلُوا عَنْ ذِكْرِهِ وَالْقِيَامِ بِحَقِّهِ, and they were negligent in remembering Him and fulfilling His rights, وَأَقْبَلُوا عَلَى حُظُوظِ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَشَهَوَاتِهَا, and instead they placed all of their focus and their ambitions on their own personal desires, fulfilling their own personal whims and desires. فَلَمْ يَنْجِحُوا, and so they were not successful. وَلَمْ يَحْصُلُوا, and neither did they attain. بَلْ أَنْسَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مَصَالِحَ أَنفُسِهِمْ, rather Allah caused them to forget that which benefits them. Allah caused them to forget that which benefits them. So the point is that Allah subhanahu has set everything around us in a particular motion, and He has placed within us a fitrah, a state of nature. The closer we are to this fitrah, the more happy and content and successful we are in this life and in the hereafter. The further we deviate from this fitrah, and the more problems there will be. And this fitrah, as I mentioned, has many layers. So it can apply to, I said diet, for example. Diet and exercise and what we put inside us. The closer we eat that which our body has been built for, the healthier we are. The more junk we eat and that which our body has not been created for, the more problems there are, health problems. Like this when it comes to clothing, like this when it comes to desires, and like this when it comes to the deen. So the author said, why did Allah create jinn and al-ins? لِعِبَادَتِهِ, for His ibadah. Then he mentioned the evidence. مَا الدَّلِيل, what is the evidence that Allah created us for His ibadah? The answer, He's saying in Surah Al-Dhariyat, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, I did not create jinn nor mankind except to worship me. So in the next lesson, I'm going to ask some of you, what is the evidence that Allah created us for His worship? Now, so memorize the ayah in Arabic. And the ulama mention, and the author said that Allah created us for His worship. The ulama mention that Allah subhanahu created us and everything around us for three main objectives. Allah subhanahu created us and everything around us for three main objectives. They're all connected to what the author said. So the first objective why Allah created us and everything around us, لِمَعْرِفَةِ اللَّهِ, in order for us to know Allah. The first objective, the first reason why Allah created us is for us to know Allah. So everything around us is an ayah. Every single thing around us is a sign telling us about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَفِي الْأَرْضِ آيَاتٌ لِلْمُوقِنِينَ وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Allah subhanahu said, and around the earth there are clear ayat for the people of certainty. And even within your own selves, within your own creation, a clear ayah regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the first reason why Allah subhanahu created us. This is the meaning of Tawhid al-Asma wa Sifat. The ulama called Tawhid al-Asma wa Sifat Tawhid al-Ma'rifa wal-Ithbat. The Tawheed of knowing Allah. The Tawheed of affirming the attributes of Allah. Tawhid al-Asma wa Sifat, it is known as Tawhid al-Ma'rifa wal-Ithbat, as Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah calls it. And Allah subhanahu said in the Quran, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. You should know La ilaha illallah. And Allah subhanahu said, لِتَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. So you may know that Allah has complete ability over everything. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ أَحَاطَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عِلْمًا. And so you may know that Allah has complete knowledge of everything. So the first purpose and objective behind our creation and everything around us is that we learn about Allah, we know about Allah. The second is al-ibadah. Like the author said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ, the saying of Allah, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. The third reason why Allah subhanahu created us and everything around us is al-ibtila wal-imtihan, is for us to be tested. Everything around us is a test. Testing whether we fulfill our purpose upon the earth or not. Every blessing Allah gives you is a test. Every struggle which you go through is a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Mulk, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. The one who created death and life to test you, who is better in actions. Naam. And this is important because we shouldn't think that a test is something which is only a struggle. Meaning, when a person goes through an illness, people advise, they say, brother, it's a test from Allah, be patient. If a person goes through a divorce, they say this is a test from Allah, be patient. If a person loses a child, may Allah protect us, a person, this is a test from Allah, you have to show sabr. If a person is going through poverty, they say it's a test from Allah, you have to be patient. The opposite is also true. So wealth is also a test from Allah. Having children is a test from Allah. Being married is a test from Allah. Being healthy is a test from Allah. All of it is a test. Don't only think that the test is in the struggles, but also in the blessing which Allah subhanahu has given us. All of that is a test. Now, so what are the three reasons why Allah subhanahu created us? Ma'rifatullah wa ibadatullah wal ibtila wal imtihan. Firstly, so we know about Allah. So when we study Tawheed, we are fulfilling the reason why Allah places upon the earth. Secondly, al-ibadah. When we worship Allah, we are fulfilling the reason why Allah places upon the earth. And then al-ibtila. When we deal with those tests, we are fulfilling the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places upon the earth. Then the author said, مَا مَعْنَا يَعْبُدُونَ. In this ayah, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, except for my ibadah. What is the meaning of يَعْبُدُونَ? The answer, يُوَحِّدُونَ. The meaning of ibadah is at-Tawheed. The meaning of ibadah is at-Tawheed. So in the Quran, Allah subhanahu uses the word ibadah to refer to Tawheed. If a person says to you, Tawheed is not important because Allah never mentioned the word Tawheed in the Quran. Say to him, Allah did mention Tawheed in the Quran, but He used the word ibadah. Every instance in which ibadah is mentioned, يَعْبُدُونَ وَعْبُدُ اللَّهِ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ, its meaning is at-Tawheed. This is not my saying, this is saying of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, mentioned in Tafsir al-Baghawi and al-Tabari and others. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, he said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ أي يُوَحِّدُونَ, except for my Tawheed. Because the essence of ibadah is Tawheed. And without Tawheed, there is no ibadah. Imagine if a person, he comes to the masjid at the time of Dhuhr, faces the Qibla, says Allahu Akbar, prays every single part of the Salah completely. But on purpose, he did not make wudu. Do we call his action Salah? No. We say what you've done is not Salah. Why? Because there was no Tahara. Intentionally, there was no Tahara. Without Tahara, there's no Salah. Like this, without Tawheed, there is no Ibadah. If a person spends thousands in charity, does Hajj, Salah, so much charity, but there's no Tawheed, all of those actions are worthless. And none of it is Ibadah. Naam. So Tawheed is Ibadah, Ibadah is at-Tawheed. And this is why in the Quran, when Allah mentions the opposite of shirk, He mentions Ibadah. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. And Tawheed is the opposite of shirk. Naam. We'll suffice with that inshaAllah. In next lesson we'll go through the meaning of Ibadah and the meaning of the first Shahada and the meaning of the second Shahada. وجزاكم الله خير وصلى الله على نبينا وسلم.